It's the power of Christ that compels you.
The Exorcist is widely known as one of the scariest films ever made. When it was released in 1974, people fainted in theatres. One man even said they had to stop the film during a showing to allow most of the audience to leave. But the true story behind the film is even scarier. So dim the lights as we get into the real story that inspired The Exorcist. In 1948, Robbie Mannheim was taught by his aunt, who was a self-described medium, how to use the Ouija board. After several weeks of using the board, strange phenomena began occurring in Robbie's house. Scratching noises were heard within the walls. Objects moved by themselves, and furniture slid across the floor. Robbie suffered frequent nightmares and would feel scratching moving around in his bed as he tried to sleep. In January of 1949, Robbie's aunt died unexpectedly, and Robbie continued to use her board, this time trying to contact her. Meanwhile, the strange phenomena continued, intensified, and Robbie started becoming more and more agitated and angry. At this point, his parents became seriously worried and contacted their Lutheran minister, who agreed to observe Robbie for a few days. When the minister witnessed chairs moving by themselves, objects flying through the air, and Robbie's bed shaking uncontrollably, he urged the parents to contact a Catholic priest. Robbie was brought to the office of Father Hughes of St. James Catholic Church in nearby Mount Rainier. It didn't take Hughes long to discern that Robbie was possessed, and his telephone and other objects on his desk started moving around while he was trying to interview the boy. Robbie spewed blasphemous and obscene remarks at the man in an unnatural, guttural voice. After obtaining permission from the bishop, Father Hughes had Robbie admitted to Georgetown Hospital, where an exorcism would be performed on him. During the ritual, Robbie became violent. He spat, vomited, and cast more obscenities at the priest. At one point, he broke loose from his restraints on the bed and slashed Father Hughes' arm with a metal spring. After the attack, Robbie calmed down and claimed not to remember anything. He was sent home, but his peace was unfortunately short-lived. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe so I know to make more like this. You can also follow the podcast on Patreon, Spreaker, and Instagram. Now back to the story. The strange and scary phenomena continued back at home, as Robbie was further tormented by something scratching words onto his chest. One of these words was Lewis. When Robbie's mother asked if this meant St. Louis, the word yes appeared cut into the boy's skin. Panicked, this prompted the family to visit their relatives who lived in St. Louis. A cousin who was a student at the university there talked to her local priest about Robbie, who agreed to see him. As with Father Hughes, the priest at St. Louis witnessed the same type of unexplainable happenings when interviewing Robbie. A large bookcase turned around on its own. A stool slid across the floor, and Robbie's bed shook as he lay upon it. As soon as the priests started their ritual, more obscenities and blasphemies were hurled at them from Robbie's mouth, in a voice that clearly wasn't his own. The priests immediately requested permission from their superior to perform another exorcism on the boy. And after reviewing all the witness statements and medical examination records, Cardinal Joseph Ritter granted their request. Once again, as the priests began their ritual, Robbie became disturbingly violent, growling and screeching and intermittently laughing in a diabolical voice. The bed he was sprawled on shook up and down, and on his chest the words hell and devil appeared, scratched into his skin. Because of Robbie's violent reaction to the exorcism, he was then transferred to the Election Brothers Hospital, where, with the family's permission, He was baptised a Catholic, and the ritual continued. On April 18th, Easter Monday, the exorcism came to a peak. The records state that this was when the demon recognised the presence of Saint Michael the Archangel, and that it was finally expelled for good out of Robbie.
Spirit commands you. The mystery of the cross commands you. The blood of the martyrs commands you.
They said when it left the child's body, a gunshot noise rang out throughout the hospital, as if something was snapping back into another world. Afterwards, Robbie remembered nothing of the diabolical ordeal, other than seeing the vision of Saint Michael. Since then, he has remained free of any presence. But soon after, William Peter Blatty heard about Robbie's case in a theology class while he was at Georgetown University. In 1969, he secluded himself in a cabin near Lake Tahoe and tapped out a novel on an old green IBM Selectric about a 12-year-old girl who became possessed by a demon. He called the novel The Exorcist. Thanks for listening, and I have a Patreon where you can join our quickly growing paranormal community to get an exclusive bonus episode each month. And please be sure to like and subscribe to be notified when I drop new videos. And I'll see you next time on From Beyond.